Hey, thank you. Welcome to the Three Geeks Network. My name is Jay, joined by Philip, Mike, and Dan, as always, with special guest Chris. We're going to go over some news topics. We got a just fun topic to discuss after that, movie sequels. With the Avengers 2 coming out, I thought it'd be fun to just talk about sequels that work, sequels that didn't work, sequels that people might not have liked that maybe we liked, maybe have some arguments, whatever. Sky's the limit. First topic, which I'm glad Mike reminded me of, is this Suicide Squad photo that's been released by Warner Brothers. Whole cast there. My initial thing when I saw this is I honestly thought it was a really good cosplay, but as I'm looking at it, I really like it. Margot Robbie looks awesome as Harley Quinn. I am going to start with Mr. McGahee. What are your thoughts, buddy?
You know, this is getting into the Batman v Superman territory now that I've been in for a while, where it's like I got to see it in action in order to get a feel for it. Because, like you said, I was definitely getting a cosplay feel off of that photo a little bit. There's some stuff I do like. I like Margot Robbie regardless, so I'm probably going to like her in this movie anyways. Will Smith, he's a coin toss. Because I've seen the set photos where it's like him with like shopping bags and stuff like that going around in like a pimp coat type deal as well. But that might just be his pedestrian outfit. This one, it looks alright, I guess. It looks like they're definitely embracing more of the gritty, dark turn for the DC universe when it comes to this. Like, again, keeping with the whole, let's not have oversaturated colors in our costumes. Let's everything be a little bit black and bleak. So, I don't know. I need to see it in action in order to get a feel for it, like I did with the Batman v Superman stuff.
Yeah, photos can be very misleading. Philip?
Um, yeah, I mean, Margot Robbie is probably the one that catches your eye first on multiple levels. Um, so I think Harley Quinn, I think she'll be interesting, even without the action, because I agree with Mike. Though Killer Croc looks a bit cheesy, but again, I kind of need to see that in action. And then there's a couple other characters I've never even heard of that are in this picture. So I really need to see them, like, to understand what it even is. So we'll have to see. I mean, it's at least intriguing, I guess. I mean, we've seen a lot of pictures. I really think this movie's getting more and more to the point where it's like I need a trailer at this point, but it's so far out that I'm like, I don't know what you're selling me, but okay, it could be interesting. I'll have to wait and see.
It was early for a Batman v Superman trailer, let alone Suicide Squad. Like, that's crazy they released that trailer 12 months early.
Yeah.
Dan, your thoughts on the photo?
It looks kind of like they're making another Underworld sequel with a bunch of cosplayer people. I mean, I really wish they would just kind of embrace like comic books and the colors and stuff, and not make them all look like the first X-Men movie. That said, I'll probably go see it anyway.
Chris, your thoughts on the photo?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even recognize Margot Robbie. I just said like, oh wow, that definitely is impactful there. And then I really didn't know Killer Croc until I looked up this thing. I was like, why is the Thing in Suicide Squad? But yeah, I'm anxious to see what they can do with it. I mean, if Batman v Superman is actually a little better impact for me than the trailer, then I think this can be just as good.
Yeah, I agree. See, Days of Future Past was one of my favorite movies of last year. I know Max on our podcast highly disagrees with me, but Quicksilver is a prime example of a photo. Like, they showed the Quicksilver photo out of context, looked really stupid, and then you see the movie, and it doesn't look so stupid, at least in my opinion. So, like, there's parts of this picture that look awesome, and then there's parts where you're like Chris just said, the Fantastic Four is going to be in Suicide Squad, but, it is just a photo, like Mike said, and you really can't tell until the trailers get released. And we haven't discussed it yet, but let's talk about it very briefly. The Jared Leto photo, I thought was really good. I really liked it with the tattoos, and the grill. I mean, he's been fighting Batman in this universe for a while, so of course he's missing teeth. I like that. I don't know if anybody else wants to comment on the Jared Leto photo.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was okay. I would like some context to the tattoos, but because without that, it kind of seems a bit over the top. But I think they might actually have some interesting narrative behind it, which could be fun and intriguing, especially if Harley Quinn's the one that put them all while he was like under a coma or something like that. Then that could be a hilarious moment when he wakes up and sees himself covered in all that crap.
Yeah. Next order of business. Josh Trank, the director of the upcoming Fantastic Four movie and Chronicle, has left the second Star Wars anthology film, which I forgot I was going to bring up. I'm sorry, but it leads into the next story of the announced Boba Fett movie, and this is the quote from Disney. Simon Kinberg has been closely involved in the creative process for the second anthology film, which is set in a separate movie universe that is not associated with Star Wars, The Force Awakens, or upcoming 8 and 9. So, first off, Josh Trank apparently left Disney very upset because he literally just walked out and said, I'm not doing this anymore. There's also, there's a bunch of rumors, and rumors are rumors. Something happened. This guy wasn't at Celebration, and the internet blew up about that, and then obviously this happened. But a Boba Fett movie set in a separate universe, I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think Disney kind of misspoke, and maybe these words don't necessarily mean that it's going to be a separate universe? It just means it's not going to tie directly into the trilogy. Philip, your thoughts?
So, from everything I read and suspect, I think it's just not going to tie... I mean, they said it's an origin story, which, if it's an origin story, there's no way in hell it can tie in with the current movies. It wouldn't make any sense, unless they're going to basically, like... I don't even know. They would have some... Maybe when he fell into the worm in the... What is that? Empire? No, Return. In Return of the Jedi, it's actually a wormhole and went back in time. Otherwise,
J.J. likes time travel. J.J. Abrams likes time travel. Just remember that, Philip. Continue.
But so I mean, beyond that, and we've I don't know. We'll have to see. I think they misspoke, but if they didn't, I don't know what they're going to tell me that's interesting or new that I haven't already seen, unless they're going to pretend the movies before this never happened as well, which at this point would have to be a completely separate universe, all unto itself, and then what's the point?
Well, one of the biggest complaints I hear about this new Star Wars universe is how they're tying everything into canon, the comic books and the books and the animated series, and the fact that they would even think about putting the movies in a separate universe kind of makes you want to question the whole canon idea to begin with, right? Mike, what are your thoughts?
I have a feeling they just misspoke, and they're saying, like, it's not going to have anything to do with the storyline that's going on with 7, 8, and 9, or even the Rogue One thing, because from what I can remember, the Rogue One's supposed to tie into the events before Episode 7 or Force Awakens, or even the original trilogy. A Boba Fett thing can just be on its own. I don't know if it's going to be an origin thing, though, because we know how he came into being. He started out as a terrible, god-awful child actor of a clone of Django, and then watched his dad get decapitated by Sam Jackson, and now I'm just remembering Attack of the Clones, so I'm upset now. Bye.
Dan?
I think that Disney is just feel like they're left out of the loop because everybody else has like shared universes and this universe and that universe, so they just wanted to throw the word out there and see how it felt. It doesn't really change anything. I mean, if you're going to have a story about him and it's an origin story, it's not going to be with the new movies, but it doesn't have to be in a different universe. I don't know.
Disney is actually in charge of the Marvel shared universe, Dan.
I know. But, see, Star Wars doesn't get to use the word universe so much. So,
That's true. I hope the shared universe is awesome. Chris, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think they just got way too used to saying the word universe in talking about Marvel, and they're like, oh, universe, not realizing that the galaxy far, far away has many planetary systems, and that really what it is that they're just going to be on another planet system that may or may not tie back in. I mean, it's not like he's going to be on Tatooine in the bunker and Aunt Beru is just not going to be there. Like, they're just not going to cross back over. And yeah, and all we really know about Boba Fett is that his clones can't shoot anything. So when does he learn how to shoot?
Yeah, it's true. So yeah, one of the complaints Whedon seems to be having with the Avengers 2 is that his hands were so tied because he was making a film that had to adhere to all these future movies and all these past movies. And maybe by making a Boba Fett movie not be in the shared universe, all they mean is, Boba Fett's going to be his own thing. Yes, it takes place in this universe, but he's off. He's doing his own thing. The events are not going to impact what happens with the main trilogy that we're working on now. That's how I take it. Same as Mike and Philip and Chris, everybody. Next up, Lucasfilms confirms Indiana Jones. Now, I saw this, and then I read the article. The internet calmed down. All Disney said was that they are now thinking about writing a script for Indiana Jones. They haven't written a script. They haven't cast anybody. They haven't signed anybody. They want to make an Indiana Jones movie, obviously. I mean, they want to do a lot of things. They're making a new Tron movie. That's actually happening. So let's report on that for a little while. But Indiana Jones, yes, Disney wants to make an Indiana Jones movie, but nothing else is there. There's no script. There's no outline. There's no thoughts. There's no characters written down. It's just an idea. Sorry, that was my rant.
I'd be upset if they didn't want to make one.
Right? Of course they want to make one. They own the rights. Dan, what are your thoughts?
After the last travesty that they made, nobody gets to touch Indiana Jones ever again. They just seal him up in a box and they put him in a warehouse, and that's where it is. First three movies, forget the fourth one, that's it.
I don't know what fourth movie you're talking about, Mike.
Yeah, see, there you go.
As long as we get a trailer where it fades to black and we hear Indiana Jones say, "Short round, we're home." And then Short Round's like, "Okay, Dr. Jones." Yeah, I mean, well, I know they're gonna do it anyways. As long as it's not a Shia LaBeouf picture, I'm cool with it. Let's find a younger, up-and-coming Harrison Ford that's not Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah. Philip?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see them do something new and interesting with that series. And I think they potentially will take that risk, but we'll have to see. And again, I'm not like you. I'm not surprised that they want to make a movie. It's all there.
All right, next up, the kid, and I'm sorry, I'm blanking on his name right now, that was in We're the Millers, has been officially signed to play Pennywise the Dancing Clown in the upcoming remake of It, written and directed by the guy who wrote Will Poulter, thank you, Philip, who wrote and directed True Detective. Yeah, he's the guy that's helming this movie, two-parter. I was actually watching this movie this weekend before this news dropped. I was watching We're the Millers, and I'm like, this kid is never going to get another acting job again. I even said those words out loud, and then within like a day, this news dropped that he was going to be in this. I think it's interesting casting. Philip, you grew up with this film. You watched it almost as much as I did as a kid. What do you think?
So, outside of We're the Millers, I don't know what he's done.
Son of Rambo.
Okay. And I don't understand, how old is he? Is he even gonna, because he's got to be, what, a teenager? Maybe he's older than I think. To me, that's what's throwing me off, I think, because I didn't really, I was surprised when I saw this news, and I was like, really? He's going to be that? But I don't know, maybe they're just going to go with a stone-face clown? I don't know. I'm struggling here. I need more information, or at least some semblance of what they want his character to be, because I don't really see him pulling off much of anything other than a guy that stands in a corner and tries to eat you.
Well, one, he's 22 years old, and two, I was watching Movie Talk today, and they were discussing the same topic, and they showed a photo of him that looked extremely creepy. Like, after seeing that picture, I could see this guy being a clown that wants to kill and maim children. Mike, what are your thoughts?
Well, speaking as someone who didn't even find the original scary, the original's hilarious, let's just say that, but like I have no interest at all in a remake or reboot of It, so they can do whatever they want with that. I mean, as long as he doesn't do the good name of Tim Curry and Injustice with his performance, I'll be fine, because Tim Curry was the man. Is the man. He's still alive.
He's still the man. Dan?
Speaking of which, you should just bring Tim Curry back, and he can be like an older, wiser clown. I liked the TV adaptation of It until like the last like half an hour. Then it just goes to shit. That said, it still has a better ending than the book. So if they just make this, make the kid kind of creepy, but still keep it like, kids would actually like go up to him and be like, "Hey, clown," and then get creepy. And then totally rewrite like the last 20 minutes. I'm more than happy with it.
What they need to do is get John Leguizamo to reprise his role as the clown from Spawn.
John Leguizamo, no.
Oh. Okay. So when I was growing up as a kid, It was my favorite movie. I rented the movie so many times from the video store that the video store guy bought it and gave it to me as a Christmas gift. And so as an adult watching it, though, the first half of the movie, the television series, it's really good. It's dark. And then the second half is completely different than the first half. Like, the tone is just so different. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan as an adult of the second half of the movie at all. But the first half, I thought, still holds up pretty well. I haven't seen True Detective yet. I'm horrible. As much as I love television, I should have seen the show. I have it. I'm going to watch it this weekend. It's only 8 episodes. I can binge it. So I'm going to. I've heard nothing but good things. So if this is the guy that's bringing us It, my eyes are open. I want to see what he does with it. Chris?
Yeah, I've seen a couple episodes of True Detective. It's really well put together. I think that he can adapt this material well, and if they can put it together, I mean, some of the photos on IMDb of Will Poulter scream creepy. So I think he can do it.
All right. Next up is Martin Freeman from Sherlock has just signed to be in Captain America Civil War. He's joining the Marvel Universe like his buddy Benedict Cumberbatch. I just watched Sherlock episode 1 last night. It's so good. But yeah, I love seeing these guys on screen, whether they're together or separate. So Martin Freeman just adds more talent to this Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I hope we see some good things. Mike, your thoughts?
Have they announced who he's supposed to be?
No.
Okay. Well,
Dr. Watson.
yeah. Well, in that case, we'll wait and see. I mean, I like him well enough. So, could he be Captain Britain? Possibly.
He's Spider-Man. He's our new Spider-Man, Martin Freeman.
There we go. Yeah, maybe he's our new Spider-Man.
You heard it first on Geek News. Thanks.
With great power comes great responsibility. But yeah. Well, I'm just gonna wait and see, because he might just go the route of a Robert Redford and just be some dude in a suit. But he'll still be good, I'm sure, regardless. But yeah.
Which is fine. Not everybody has to be a superhero. I kind of hope he's not the superhero. Dan?
Yeah, from what I've seen of Sherlock, I haven't seen the last season yet, but he's good. That's cool.
Awesome. I think I'm going to go to Philip, don't you? Chris, what are your thoughts on this news?
Yeah, I think he can play anything. I mean, he was even good in his little thing in Love Actually. So, whatever. Wherever they put him, I think he'll be fine.
Philip, any thoughts?
I generally will like him, and he definitely can play anything. I don't know if anyone's really seen Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but he can play a goofy kind of character really well, and that was my first introduction to him. And then I love him in Sherlock, so it'll be interesting to see what role he gets. I mean, hell, it'll be interesting just to see what the movie's going to generally be about, honestly, at this point, other than what we know from the comics.
Could you imagine Martin Freeman bulking up to look like Chris Evans and just walking through? Because that was one of the things in the Avengers 2. Those two guys have somehow gotten bigger than they were in the previous movies. It's crazy. So last but not least, well, depending on how you feel about this, The Simpsons has been officially renewed for 2 more years. Uh, I think The Simpsons is better now than it was before the movie came out. Until seasons 1 through like 5 or 6 are really good, and then after that it kind of went downhill. The movie came out, it got a little bit better. It's since it's going downhill again, I still think it's better than when it went downhill before the movie came out. I think this show needs to go off the air and maybe release a movie every few years because I really like the movie. I don't know how everybody else feels about the movie, but I thought it was really good. It was the best the Simpsons had been since the earlier seasons. Chris, your thoughts on more Simpsons?
I mean, the spider pig can always have a place. But I feel like it's kind of like SNL. It goes in these very distinct waves where it's good and bad and good and bad. But it all depends on the writers' room that they've got going on at the time. And I feel like they could do with an extended hiatus for a little while to regroup and get some fresh blood in there. Philip?
Yeah, I mean, that or go the route of what they did with... I definitely think a hiatus will help. I mean, that actually kind of showed up in Futurama when it went off the air for a little while. The stuff they brought back, they were able to be inventive and bring their imagination back to the game. So even if they don't do like full-fledged movies, I think they probably could, because I actually think there's enough of an audience. But do some sort of like hour and a half little things every so often if they want to stay on television. But I kind of agree. I mean, I think it'll go on for 2 seasons. I think it'll go on because they're going to still pull in numbers just for the name alone until they run it into the ground.
I know they just signed on to season 28. I have a feeling they'll at least go to 30. Have a nice round number. Mike, your thoughts?
I stopped watching The Simpsons a while back, so I mean, if it had gone off the air, I wouldn't have even known at this point. But cool. I mean, they're a long-running show. I mean, if they're able to still crank out ideas, good for them, I guess. And they're, like Philip said, they're able to pull in the numbers at least. So they're doing something right, I suppose. I don't know. Yeah, I was more disappointed when Futurama went off the air, but then kept coming back infrequently. So that kind of became my new Simpsons after I lost interest in old Simpsons. But hey, whatever. If they're still running, God bless them. They're doing something right.
Dan?
I think the last couple seasons of The Simpsons have been really good. I get the feeling that like they just don't give a shit anymore. So they'll just do like bizarre things. Like some of the couch sequences that they ran, I've had to watch twice just because they're just oddly bizarre. But yeah, I mean, as long as they keep it coming, I'm happy. I'll still watch it.
Awesome. That's all the news topics we have for you. So come on, guys, let's talk about some sequels. The Avengers came out. What do you guys like? Philip, throw some names out. We'll discuss them. Philip, we can't hear you, buddy. You're talking to nobody.
Yeah, I just gotta have a little dead air there. So a few of mine that I thought were great were Terminator 2 sequels, Aliens, Empire Strikes Back. That was all I could really come up with, and to me that I would consider in the like great category, where it either improved upon or changed kind of what the formula was for the previous one. Ones that I thought were okay were Avengers 2, Die Hard 2, and this one might be a little controversial, but Matrix Reloaded. I thought it was at least an okay sequel of bringing what the first one brought without being able to do any mind-blowingness, because that was all done in the first one. That's what I felt about Avengers 2. Like, all the great parts of Avengers happened in the first one. They tried to recreate it in the second one. It just couldn't live up to what the first one was.
I'll get more controversial than you. One of my favorite comedy sequels of all time, and not a lot of people like it, is Gremlins 2. I love that movie. I love it from start to finish. I think it's fantastic. I have more fun watching the second one than I do the first one. I know that's blasphemous, but I saw the second one first. So I went into it with the comedy angle and not the more serious tone of the movie. Another sequel that I really like, and I think it's one of the best comedy sequels of the last 10 years, was 22 Jump Street. They took the stereotypes of what a comedy sequel should be, and they threw it in your face in a way that I thought was brilliant. And obviously, it was written by the guys who did the Lego Movie, so they definitely have something going for them real well. And then another sequel that I really like is Wes Craven's New Nightmare, Nightmare on Elm Street 7. I thought it was really good and kind of ahead of its time. Chris, you got some sequels that you like? Maybe touch on The Matrix Reloaded.
I gotta say that The Matrix Reloaded hits an interesting spot for me because I feel like it has a lot of corollaries to Avengers 2. They're obviously in totally different ballparks in terms of popularity, but it's the same kind of thing. It's like it went ahead and like assumed you knew everything about the first one, builds on the story, shows you a couple of new interesting things in the universe, but it doesn't really expand anything further. It doesn't like you don't get to see a new like level of the Matrix or anything like that. You just kind of see more into the story, and I love it because of the corollaries to how they make everything in the Matrix computer component. But other ones that I really like are Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers, which I know kind of benefits from the fact that the book was better for the second run, and they run in series with the book. But I feel like it was a better movie that brought a much more interesting thing. Like it was no longer team building; it was more of the orc situation and traveling and actually fighting the war. So yeah, those are the sequels I can think of are pretty good.
Dan, discuss some sequels we've already mentioned, some of your favorites. What do you got?
I'm going to lead off with The Godfather 2, because nobody ever said anything about it. Yeah, see, I actually know what I'm talking about with film now, see? Yeah, it's cooler. You've got that kiss with Fredo. It's the greatest thing ever. I actually seem to like most of the horror sequels better than the first movies, but I'm just gonna give one. That's gonna be the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Because it's just balls to the wall crazy, and I love that one. Let's see here, and I just blanked out again. But hold on. Yeah, Terminator 2, of course, is like the classic like action movie sequel there, Phil. They just did everything better, and it doesn't hurt to have a giant CGI budget and a metal robot. Let's see. I'm sure I have some more, but just go on to Mike now.
Mike.
And I was going to say Godfather Part 2. You stole it. Nuts. Let's see. Aliens was mentioned a little bit earlier before the broadcast, and I definitely think that's a marked, not improvement, but definitely explored that world a little bit more and offered a lot more thrills and action, and was able to take the premise and completely turn into another genre, whereas the first one was more horror-based. That one definitely had more going in for the action-adventure type of stuff. I'm looking at my shelf of stuff here. The Dark Knight. Come on, everyone keeps forgetting that was a sequel at times. Like everyone's like, oh, it started with The Dark Knight, right? Like, no, that was actually the second movie. A lot of people forget about Begins. But I mean, Begins was fine enough, but Dark Knight really kind of was the peak of the mountain for that trilogy. No, not Secret of the Ooze. Forget that movie.
I was going to say Secret of the Ooze.
Dude. Let's see here. Yeah, you said Godfather Part 2. Oh, how could we forget the horror classic Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2? It gave us Garbage Day as a meme. Come on, that's great. But
Mike, you're making my soul frown now.
I'm kidding. I like the first Silent Night, Deadly Night more than the sequel. But no, I mean,
Garbage Day is great, and that guy's eyebrows are wonderful. But
it's great just for that dude, essentially, and that's about it. But like, I don't know. It's give or take, because a lot of people think like, oh, if you wait many, many years for a sequel, it either pays off or doesn't pay off. We've had a couple of instances where that's happened. Like Sin City 2 was pretty bad, I thought, anyways. Dumb and Dumber 2 was pretty bad. But yeah, you have some instances though where it does work out well, where the sequel is worth the wait. I just can't think of one right now, but yeah. Pretty much all the sequels you guys mentioned beforehand.
I got a couple more. Evil Dead 2, I personally like better than the first one. And this is gonna sound weird, but I'm telling you, there's actually an article after me and Philip watched this where it said that it's one of the best sci-fi movies of the last 20 years. But Universal Soldier Regeneration is actually a really good movie. Philip, you back me up on that, right? It's the third one.
It's better. I think it's
It's-
better than the previous one. So yeah.
It's different. It's been yeah. But Wrath of Khan is one that nobody's talked about. Come on, guys. I mean, Max isn't here, and I mean, I know Chris isn't a Trekkie, but the three of you guys should be. Yeah, what's another comedy sequel?
Empire Strikes Back. That's hilarious.
It's hilarious. Yeah, it is. I'm looking at Mike's shelf, see what's going on.
And nobody said anything about Harry Potter. The second Harry Potter was totally different than the first one.
I like the third one. I think it's the one I like the best.
Yeah, the second one was boring.
Let's look at Mike's shelf some more. What do we got going on?
I got two more for you, Jason.
Just kidding.
Ace Ventura.
I didn't like the second one.
Nobody liked the second one.
It's just because the second Ace Ventura movie, the character became a lot more cruel and rude. Like in the first one, yeah, he's an idiot, but he's got some heart in him, and in the second one, he has no heart at all. It's just that's my opinion. But
It was a movie written for 12-year-olds, Jason.
Pretty much.
And then here's a horrible one: Son of the Mask. Speaking of sequels to Jim Carrey movies, or Dumb and Dumber, which Bob Saget was the highlight of. And anytime you say that, you know that the movie has some problems. I've been watching
Transformers.
Oh my God, those get worse with each one that comes out. 2 is better than 3. 3 is better than 4, but none of them are good.
What about Spider-Man 2?
Oh, that's a good one. Spider-Man 2, X-Men 2.
I like Spider-Man 2. And I have one more because Max already gave me shit about it today. But I really liked Hannibal better than Silence of the Lambs.
I liked Hannibal. I don't like it better than Silence of the Lambs, but I really liked Hannibal. I'm watching the show right now, and I really like that.
But that one actor that I can never remember his name, like, steals that whole movie. The dude that got his face pieced together. Played Dracula and Bram Stoker's Dracula. You know.
Gary Oldman.
Oh, Gary Oldman?
There you go. Gary Oldman.
Guys, Superman 4: The Quest for Peace. That movie was awesome.
Oh.
What would you say? 2 was better than 1?
No.
Yes.
Nah.
What's that?
We agreed.
I don't know. I like both. I like the first two. They kind of haven't aged well with me, but I like the first two movies. I think 2 might be better than 1. I don't know. I haven't seen them in a while.
I really like them both, but are we talking the Donner cut or are we talking the original cut then for 2? Because they are slightly different.
So would the Donner cut make 2 better for you?
I think it does. I don't know.
He reverses time again in the Donner cut at the end of it, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. Never mind. The first one's better.
Oh.
One Way Out of Left Field is Be Cool, sequel to Get Shorty.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good, yeah.
It was a decent movie made from a decent book, so yeah.
Critters 3 with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, no, better than the first 2, though.
I'm kidding. Leprechaun 3, that was fantastic. I watched that today.
Leprechaun in the Hood.
With
Well, that might actually be better.
That is better than 3. Isn't that a Let's be honest. Oh.
Here's one. What about Ghostbusters 2? What does everyone think of that one?
I actually don't hate that movie like everybody else does.
Yeah, but do you think it's better than the first one?
No, I don't think it's better
I
than
don't
the first
either.
one, but I
I mean,
think
it's okay.
I think it's a good sequel. I mean, it really is. I think because it came out 5 years after the original, the hype was built up on the second Ghostbusters. But after putting so much time between it, I mean, I know a lot of people that like the sequel, and I know a lot of kids that are growing up without that, anticipation between the two because they can just go from one to the other that end up enjoying it a lot more than I think the initial reaction. So, yeah, I think Ghostbusters 2 is a fine sequel. Is it better than the original? No. Naked Gun 2.5. That was awesome. I love that movie. Gave us Leslie Nielsen.
I mean, but I like all of those movies. So
Naked Gun gave us Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah,
Actually, Airplane, right? Airplane was first.
The show Police Squad gave us Leslie Nielsen.
AKA,
the movie Prom Night gave us Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and he's in Creepshow. That was yeah.
Oh yeah.
You got Hot Shots Part 2.
There you go.
You want to get into that genre.
the overtopness was better, but the movie itself, I don't know. Saddam Hussein is a what is that? A Chihuahua? I don't remember what dog. Turns into a dog face in that movie.
Scream 2. That was a good sequel.
So I was looking at the Screams. I haven't seen them in so long. I couldn't remember.
I like 2 better than 1 actually. Of that one.
I thought it kind of did what 22 Jump Street did in a different way, where they kind of poked fun at the fact that they were a sequel, and they did it in a very good way, I thought. And I like the 4th Scream too. The 3rd one is not very good though.
So what about The Last Crusade? I think
That's a good sequel. Not as good as Temple of Doom, but it's good. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I would say Temple of Doom was better though.
Oh, but so would you say Temple of Doom was better than the first one?
That's tough. See, because I mean, you got like Cool Dude ripping out hearts, which gives it major plus, but it doesn't have as many cool drawy map scenes. So I'm not sure.
You do have Short Round in Temple of Doom.
Yes, you do.
That wasn't offensive.
But you've got Sala in Raider. So
That's less offensive.
not much, but less.
Well, at least Sala wasn't annoying as shit. Let's see. How about Jaws 2, 3, and/or The Revenge?
I'm gonna go with The Revenge.
The shark follows them.
Of course it does. I mean, what?
He has it out for the Brodies.
The shark needs another movie, Mike. I mean, he just has to follow those people around, and he'll eventually have another movie.
Nice.
This is fun. We need to do more topics like this on.
Ooh. Clear and Present Danger, and the Patriot Games to Hunt for in October.
Oh, I forgot that is a sequel.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I would go Patriot Games actually.
That could probably work. Desperado and Once Upon a Time in Mexico over El Mariachi.
Yes.
I would go with Once Upon a Time over
Most
Mexico.
people have never seen it. Gotcha.
Lethal Weapon 2. The introduction of Joe Pesci and Leo Getz.
I don't know if it would still be Lethal Weapon 1 though.
I say I like 2 better because I really like Pesci. Pesci's one of my favorite actors of all time.
I mean, Pesci's cool, but they kind of go out of their way. I mean, more so in 3 and 4 to like goofy ass set pieces.
Mike's showing some
Wait,
right there.
what was it, Mike?
Magnum Force.
Oh, hell yeah!
Oh, yes! Dirty Harry. I forgot about those movies.
Although the Deadpool had Jim Carrey singing Guns N' Roses, so
Really?
lip syncing Guns N' Roses. My bad.
If you're watching us live, feel free to question. I know we have sent in any questions, comments, whatever. We'd love to get you involved in this sequel discussion.
What about the diehards? I mean, they didn't really bring anything holistically new until you get to With a Vengeance, but the second one was pretty good.
I thought the second one was pretty good. I like 3. 3's my favorite of the series.
Yeah, Die Hard with a Vengeance is my favorite after the original.
See, you know what's funny? I was thinking all this, and I dropped it off my list because I went to look to Rotten Tomatoes. I didn't realize how critically underwhelmed people were by that movie. Like, they absolutely really despised it. I think it was like 50%.
Well, the critics don't get everything right. I mean, 2001 was considered a critic flop when it came out. Now look at it.
Yeah, I mean, the best part of the 90s was that TNT got to pick up all the Die Hard movies and play them on nonstop.
Let's put it this way. I'll take Die Hard with a Vengeance over A Good Day to Die Hard and Live Free and Die Hard.
Oh God, yes.
I think any sane person would there, Mike.
I went to when Die Hard 5 came out. I paid $20 and went to the rave and saw Die Hard 1, 2,
Oh.
3, 4, and 5 back to back in the same day, and you can watch the franchise do this.
Yeah.
You go up a little bit, and then it was sad.
Ooh.
I didn't see Die Hard 4. I don't hate. It's okay. It's not my favorite, but it's 5 though wasn't even a Die Hard movie at all.
Here's a puzzler for you guys: Mortal Kombat or Mortal Kombat Annihilation?
Oh, dude, Mortal Kombat.
Combat.
Kombat. That movie's awesome. It's a guilty pleasure for sure.
Look,
Animation is awful.
although the line delivery in the second one is great.
Here we go. Aladdin 1, Return of Jafar, or The Prince of Thieves?
Yeah. Now you're just
Pass.
getting ridiculous now, sir.
Road Warrior.
Road Warrior.
Oh, but seriously, the Toy Stories.
Yeah, there you go. Each Toy Story movie is better than the next, and they're all fantastic.
Yeah, I'd go Road Warrior, actually.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen that one. I really love the first one, but I haven't seen the sequel.
I like the Humongous. He makes me happy.
Max, this one is for you. I really like Iron Man 2. I'm just kidding. It's my least favorite of the Marvel movies, but I wanted to give Max a mini aneurysm when he watches this back later, because he will. And
Why do you guys not like see the way that I see where Iron Man 3 is worse than any of them?
I liked Iron Man 3.
I
actually,
like
one
Iron
of my
Man 3.
favorites.
Yeah,
It
I
just
like Iron Man 3
boggles my
too.
mind, gentlemen. I don't know why.
It's definitely the worst of the Iron Mans. I agree with Dan.
I disagree, because we got to see Tony Stark as a character. We got to see him away from his Iron Man suit. And
I don't
still
give a
be-
shit. The movie's called Iron Man. It should be like Iron Man.
I heard somebody say that Iron Man 3 was a bad Iron Man movie, but a good Shane Black movie. So maybe that's why people dislike
That's-
it.
Okay.
Honestly, that's why I like it a lot, because it's a nice Robert Downey Jr. Shane Black reunion movie. Like, if they could have found a way to bring back Val Kilmer as Gay Perry in some way, shape, or form, I would have been happy.
For me, it's kind of
Wait,
like World
was
War Z.
Shane Black? Was he the one that wrote The Last Boy Scout?
Yeah, and he did
Yeah, Lethal Weapons and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Okay.
He was also the guy with the glasses in Predator.
Ah.
Yeah, for me, it was a lot more like gosh, I lost my train of thought. It just seemed like it was a great movie. It just wasn't a great Iron Man movie, I guess. Like I think you could they told the emotional story was really good, but I feel like Iron Man 2 did a better job of mixing the emotions with him actually being Iron Man a little more.
I don't hate Iron Man 2 like Max does. It's just my least favorite of the Marvel movies. Like Max, I got to get him into it one day. He will go on a rant for 3 hours and tell you everything that's wrong with this movie, and then wrong with things that have nothing to do with the movie that have to do with comic books.
Max go on a rant? Oh, whoa, that's a stretch. I have one to pose to Dan really quick. Exorcist or Exorcist 2 the Heretic?
Oh, God. I would actually go with 3.
Yes, I agree.
That brings in who's in that? Brad Dourif?
Yes. But 3 has one jump scare that I always forget about and always gets me every single time. It's the scary nurse with like the giant pruning shears walking through the hall.
Yeah, I was watching a horror movie countdown thing of like the worst horror movies. This was a while back, and Exorcist 2 was on the list because
2 is awful.
Because they say Pazuzu so many times in that movie that it becomes more of a comedy than a horror movie like it's supposed to be.
But
That's
you got to
that movie's problem, sir.
But you got to give kudos. They actually put Linda Blair on the edge of a building without any sort of safety or harness. Like, that's pretty ballsy.
Yeah, Tom Cruise, get on that. You go on something without a harness.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible 6. Tom
Riding
Cruise.
planes is fine, indeed.
Mighty Ducks 2.
I can't argue either way. I haven't seen those since I was a child.
Well, I have children, so I've watched them very recently because the movies from when we were kids, for the most part, are better than the movies that kids have today. Because today they have movies like Paul Blart, and Paul Blart is horrible.
It's nice to know that before he became an upstanding attorney at law, Foggy Nelson was a rough and tumble hockey player. No one gets that, do they?
I do.
No,
I
it
know
was
exactly
awesome.
what
Okay, I
you're
was about
talking
to
about.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, Foggy Nelson's the one big kid from the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Not
can
the
totally
goal.
shoot. He just can't skate.
He left the Bash Brothers to become a lawyer.
That's right.
All right, I think that's the end of our sequels discussion. Philip, what do you got for us in the world of video games?
So the big news is Disney Infinity 3.0 was announced. The main focus of that, of course, will be Star Wars, which definitely looks cool. We'll have to see what all they actually add to it and what it'll be different. But it, again, builds on the Disney Infinity universe, which I did actually like the trailer where they had a lot of the traditional Disney properties interacting with the Star Wars, which is kind of interesting, especially when they had the, oh gosh, the little plush squeezy toys from Toy Story that always think everyone's coming to save them. Can't remember the name of it, but and they were all excited when the Millennium Falcon landed. You know, the ooh, those guys. So that'll be interesting. That's, I think, this fall. I don't remember a date. Anyone else can pop in if anyone else remembers a date. Nope. All right. This week, we have 3 games coming out. 2 are physical retail copies, and 1 is a digital-only copy. Wolfenstein the Old Blood comes out this week, which is a standalone prequel to the Wolfenstein the New Order that came out last year. That game was really good, and from what I've heard so far is this game is just as good. It's just a lot darker than the last game was, which is interesting. It's $20, and it's only going to be on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and I believe PC. The Shadow of Mordor has a Game of the Year edition. You know, it's this time of year, usually late spring, early summer through midsummer is when you get the Game of the Year editions for good games that came out last year. It's good value because you get all the. If you're really interested and you haven't touched it or played it, probably a good time to buy it. It's $50 and it gets you all the DLC plus the game. That game was awesome. I've played about halfway through it, just haven't had time to go back to it, but I'm definitely going to go back to it. It's definitely a game worth checking out if you haven't. And a game that just snuck up on me because I was looking at what was coming out this week was Project Cars. When I first heard about it, I wasn't really excited. I didn't do too much research into it. Then actually, after I saw a little, I want to say basically like an advertising clip for it, they kind of talked about it doesn't just limit it to one type of car. So you can actually create a career where you start as a kart racer and progress to anything you want, whether that be Formula One, NASCAR, rally racer. Basically, I think what it's done is it's taken a Gran Turismo, smashed it with Forza, and then added in motorcycles, karting, sprint, sprint cups, which I can't really have to describe to the average person. Basically, dirt track racing. They've added that, and I'm actually excited for it. So I actually am going to check it out. I'll let you all know. It doesn't actually come out on Xbox One, PlayStation 4 till next week, the 12th, but the PC version comes out on Thursday.
Quick question, Philip. What do you consider a great video game sequel?
Oh,
That's a good question.
that is a very good question. I wish I had some time to think about this. I mean, off the top of my head, no, I wouldn't want to go with probably Mass Effect 2 is probably the best, just because the expansion of the storyline, they fixed a lot of the gameplay mechanics and the expansion of the story. I'll just say gameplay mechanics, even though I think they went a wee bit too far and turned it from an RPG to an action shooter.
Silent Hill 2.
That's very, very good as well. I was trying to go more recent with my brain. I forgot about that one. That's actually amazing. That one, that's what they actually tried to model the Silent Hill movie after, even though they didn't really do a good job.
What about Doom 2? I mean, that was leaps and bounds over Doom 1. I mean, come on.
I can't argue with that.
Half-Life 2.
Warcraft 2.
Half-Life 2, much better. Warcraft 2,
Warcraft 2.
that's better, but you're
TMNT 4, Turtles in Time.
I love that game.
Not bad.
I was gonna say, I think this could be a whole separate topic.
Yeah, let's think about it. Do it next week.
Philip, another quick one. Do you know when that Star Wars game from EA is coming out?
Battlefront is
It's November, I think. November.
Yeah,
December.
it's like the second week of November, because I think it comes out the week after Call of Duty. And the joke was, well, it won't affect Battlefront Call of Duty just because the people that want to play it will play it anyways, and they'll buy both.
Exactly.
So, because I think Halo comes out September.
One will just have Ewoks in it. It doesn't. It's like
Exactly, for the people that want to murder Ewoks.
As long as we get speeder bikes, I'm in.
And,
That's in there.
let's get to one of our plugs. So we always, on our podcast, we always plug VGMX and Go Game Island, but now I have a new reason for you to go into both of these stores. His name is Max. Max now works at Game Island and at VGMX. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, you can go and check out Max at GoGameIsland.com in the Polaris Fashion Mall in Columbus, Ohio. Max will be there. You can pick up your video games, any board games, pop figurines, plushies, or go to VGMX on Schrock Road and check out their game selection. Mention that you heard them here on this, that you heard about them through this podcast. Get 20% off your next used purchase. You can also say hi to Max at the VGMX Schrock Road location. Dan and I are there pretty frequently too. Have a great night. Thank you.